Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. So it's Wednesday, basketball day. Oh wait, I'm not playing today. Got a big meeting in the city. So no basketball for me today, so I'm going to put on a couple more pounds drinking all these wines for you. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So next week, so don't show up at the Wine Library today thinking you're going to play. Other things before we get into the wines. Zero Creep. Great job, man. You were the first to post yesterday. Now I'm going on to ignore you, as I always do. Next, I want to get into wine today. And what I want to do is talk about New World Sauvignon Blanc. I drink a lot of Sauvignon Blanc, but mainly Sancerre. And what I wanted to try today, which I haven't drank a lot of lately, is some New World under $10 retail Sauvignon Blanc. I mean, everybody's always looking for value, and I get a lot of emails that are not coming through on the comments of, hey, I know you're doing fancy schmancy wines, but can you do something for us everyday folks? We're looking for everyday wine. And since it's basically been 100 degrees everywhere in America, global warming, I think it's a great idea to try some wines that are well priced and supposedly the crisp, clean wines that you should be drinking in weather like this. So what I've done is picked 4 wines from 4 different areas of the world, and we're going to try them today and see how they're doing. So, let's go. Numero uno. Man Vintners 2005 from the West Cape, Sauvignon Blanc. And let's see if this guy is the man. What I like about these wines is they tend to be very crisp, very clean, especially the Sancerres and some of the other wines from the Loire Valley. That's where I tend to drink most of my Sauvignon Blanc. I was going to do one, but then I came up with a theme of under $10, and that's why I've gone this route. I mean, this man is like $6-7. Really nice color. Actually pretty dark for Sauvignon Blanc. It's got a lot of golden color. It's got a little frizzante going on, which for a young wine is common, Sauvignon Blanc. And there's that crisp, clean nose. Hint of a little bit of kiwi on the nose, which is nice. I'm a big fan of kiwi. I sometimes just take the whole thing and eat it. You know, don't take the skin off. It's pretty cool that way. It's crisp. It's clean. It's serviceable. Not a lot of flavor. Nothing too spectacular going on. Alcohol is coming through a little bit. There is a little heat. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of, I visited Robin Lale's house last summer. Lale Vineyards in California, by the way. If you've never had, you have to try. Anyway, she served water with a bunch of lemons in it, and it was really cool. I don't know why I still remember it, but this kind of reminds me of it. So I think you can probably get this flavor profile by buying a lemon in the store and slicing it up and putting in some water. So with that being said, we're going to say pass. Let's move on. Giessen, 2005 Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough. And everybody has been on the New Zealand bandwagon ever since Cloudy Bay 5 or 6 years ago graced the covers of the Wine Spectator, or the inside pages, I should say, and received 94 points. New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc has been on the scene. We sell more New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc than any other Sauvignon Blanc from any other country, and they're really, really hot. Giessen has gotten 90-point scores from Spectator and from Parker and from Tanzer in the past, or at least of that realm, and it's been a great producer. We sell a lot of it, so let's see how great it is. Really nice color. Really obvious nose. Very pineapple-y, mixed with some grapefruit. Very aromatic, much more aromatic than the man. Complex wine, also a little frizzante, you know, definitely better than the man, but, you know, solid. Again, I'm comparing it maybe to $15 Sancerre, so maybe that's what's hurting it, but it has definitely got a little bit of herbal aspect to it on the mid-palate, which is quite interesting. Yeah, this is a nice wine. I mean, you're not going to go wrong at $10 on this wine for sure. You definitely get a sense of melon, which is quite nice. I like this wine. It's again, I don't want to use the word serviceable, but it's what I feel. It's kind of like you can definitely drink this wine on your porch by yourself in a day like this and not be devastated. I wouldn't say I highly recommend it, but, you know, again, for $10, it's not bad. Yeah, not bad. Let's move on. Monka, 2005 Chilean Sauvignon Blanc. And this guy's like, I don't know, like 4 cents. I mean, it's a real good price. Don't call me on that. Don't call the order department and say, where's the 4-cent wine? Don't get me in trouble. But I think it's under $7 for sure. Let's see what's going on with this. Not much of a nose. You know what? Just gonna rinse. I think the Giessen is still kind of lingering. Yeah, no nose to talk about at all. Let's move on. Pass. Markham, 2004 Sauvignon Blanc from the Napa Valley. If you've never heard of Napa Valley, you're not watching. Excuse me, you're probably not watching this show. Markham always makes great wine, has long been considered one of the better value-oriented Sauvignon Blancs. This smells like Pampers. Now, empty Pampers. Nothing inside, no fun toys inside, but it smells like Pampers. I don't know why. I don't know. It hit me right away, as you can see. It's an awkward kind of nose. What? This is not a great effort by Markham. The flavor's just all over the place. It just seems very generic. I don't know what else to say. I'm just not really into it. The flavors are very... You get a little honey, you get a little lemon. Yeah. This is a definite pass. It's off balance. It's not really well made. I'm really not that into it. Yeah. So, this didn't go so well. New World Sauvignon Blancs. We're going to have to continue this and do it another time because I really didn't find anything that I would go crazy over. I think the Giessen is pretty good, but the Man, the Monka, the Markham, must be something with M. Do not buy any M-lettered Sauvignon Blancs. That's what I say for today. So, let's move on, because the wines were sure not worth today's episode. Question time. Rick MCQ says, Gary, I drink wine about 5 days a week. I'm still trying to store bottles away like a squirrel. Is it true who dies with the most bottles wins? Rick, yes. Let's move on. Nick says, Gary, glad to see you back to your more normal, enthusiastic style. My question is somewhat of a logistical one. When do you usually read the comments for the last time before recording today's episode? Nick, I read the comments like a crackhead. I read them every time they come in. They pop in my little inbox, and I read them. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to read them. I'm reading them constantly. I'm addicted to comments. I love comments. So, to answer your question, immediately right before I sit down and go into the new episode, I'm all over them like white on rice. I love comments. Chris says, among other things, here's my question. I have a reasonable idea about the preferred aging of Bordeaux grapes, but the ideal aging of Pinot is a mystery to me. Can you shed any light on the subject? Thanks. Chris, obviously every wine is different. So obviously a Romani Conti, Richebourg is going to age considerably different than an $8 Chilean Pinot Noir. However, I understand where you're coming from, where most Bordeaux in that mid-tier price range are good at 8 to 12 years. Pinot Noirs tend to be in that 5 to 8 year range for me. California Pinots I drink within the first 4 years. Oregon Pinots I like between 5 and 10 years, have shown real well. And obviously Burgundies can last much, much longer. So, obviously this is a tough question to generalize. It's really just not what I do. However, I understand where you're coming from, and to answer it the best I can, 5 to 7. Now, the question of the day. And before I get to the question of the day, I have to call out Jason R. Hey, Jason R., who the heck do you think you are putting question of the day in today's comments right before I went on? I'm in charge here. You don't ask the question of the day. I do. And so here's today's question of the day. What was the last bottle of wine you've tasted? That's right, the last wine. Post the last wine you had. Or post the wine you're tasting as you're watching the video. I guess that can count as your last wine. But I'd like to know what you guys are drinking and tasting out there. So that's the question of the day. And finally, I do have one final question. And it comes from Rick E. Rick says, among other things, by the way, I've been a Wine Library customer fan for over a year, which leads me to my question. Whatever happened to that commercial for Wine Library you guys did a while back where you were tasting wines in the back room? You had it on your website briefly, but now I can't find it. It may shed some light on your sense of humor, even before you became a big vlog star. I was noticed yesterday at a wine bar, so I am a vlog star. And about that episode, that commercial, here it is.
Hey, we're ready.
Executives at Wine Library blind taste over 500 new bottles of wine each month. First is the 2002 Sharpshooter Cabernet.
Great color.
Let's bring in 400 cases.
Next is the 2002 Blue Harvest Merlot.
That was bad. What's next?
WineLibrary.com. Tasting bad wines so you don't have to.